Hero section is either making you money or quietly killing your conversions. And most businesses never realize which one it is. If your website is getting traffic but not enough leads, bookings or sales, there's a good chance the problem is not just the traffic, it's the messaging in your hero section. And so in this video, I'm going to give you a simple framework you can use to fix that. You will leave with a practical way to structure your hero section so it gives people a reason to stay, more importantly, to stay and a reason to act and move forward, whatever you want them that action to be. Really, I think the main point is to really give somebody a reason to really call you for your service. And I think this works for any business, local, anything you're selling online. If you're running ads for it and you're trying to get people back to a page for them to buy the offer or to buy whatever service. The real problem, a lot of businesses assume they have a traffic problem. Sometimes the site is actually getting traffic, but the real problem is clarity. Research shows it looked at more than 41,000 landing pages, 461 million unique visitors, and 57 million conversions. And one of the things that research reinforces is that copy, readability, and word choice directly affect performance. So when the message is weak or it's vague, the traffic you already paid for or earned can underperform. That's why it's not just a traffic discussion, it's a messaging problem. That matters because the hero section is the first real sales moment on the website. The first thing a visitor sees, the first thing they use to decide whether to keep reading, and often the first thing that determines whether they choose you or keep searching. More research has made similar point in its homepage research. The homepage is often the first and possibly only chance to engage the visitor, and it needs to guide people with clarity and precision. That lines up with exactly how I think about the hero section. Before people see your pricing, your service details, testimonials, or anything else, they see the heroes. They see the hero section. In most websites, they waste that moment, obviously. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see. Most businesses use the hero section to describe who they are instead of persuading the visitor to move forward, giving them a real reason to work with us. Like, what value are you really actually giving them compared to the other businesses? Most businesses do the same thing. Describing the business is not the same as converting the visitor. That's two different things. If the hero section does not give people a reason to care quickly, it becomes an introduction instead of a conversion asset. That's exactly why I'm going to show you this framework. I use like a framework for this, for the hero section. The framework, I call this the conversion focused hero framework. It's a simple 3-step way to make the hero section more useful, more strategic, and more conversion focused. The 3 steps are the offer, which is like the headline, the outcome, which is the sub-headline, and action, which is the CTA. And as I go through these examples, I want you to keep asking one question. Does this section actually give the visitor a reason to move forward? Because that is the real job of the hero section. So step 1 is the offer. The first job of the hero section is to answer 2 questions. Answer 2 questions immediately. What do I get and why should I care right now? And that means leading with a clear, tangible offer, not a mission statement, not vague branding language, and not a general promise. A real reason to act, a real reason to move forward. In practice, that can be a discount, a bonus, a guarantee, financing, a bundled offer, a fast estimate, or anything else that makes the service feel more compelling right away. And a lot of strong offers come from a very strategic sweet spot, high perceived value and low actual cost. That's where some of the best offers live. A great offer does not always mean discounting. A lot of times, the smartest offer comes from finding where something feels valuable to the customer without being too expensive for the business to deliver. That's where offer design becomes strategic instead of reactive. Once the offer is clear, and the next step is to show the outcome, to translate the value. This is where many sections fall apart. Instead of translating the offer into something meaningful, they list features or use generic lines that sound nice but do not build uh, belief. A better question is what changes for the visitor? What becomes easier, better, or more valuable? What problem does this solve? What does success look like after? More research, more recent landing pages guidance keeps reinforcing the same basic idea. Strong headlines, clear goals, and focused CTAs help high converting pages perform better. So, step two is about meaning. It's about translating the offer into value the visitor can quickly understand. Then step three is action. And this is where a lot of pages either gain or lose it. A strong CTA does more than ask for a click, it reduces hesitation. It should feel written from the user's perspective, tied to the outcome they want, and framed like a low friction next step. The click should feel like progress and not pressure. It should feel like they're gaining something and not really like committing to a risky commitment. You know, shouldn't feel like that. It should feel like progress. It should feel like they're getting something, retaining something. And that matters because strong messaging can lose power if the CTA makes the action feel heavier than it needs to feel. So that's the framework. The framework in a simple form: offer, outcome, action. The headline presents the offer, the subheadline translates the value, and the CTA moves the visitor forward. It sounds simple, but when those three parts are aligned, the hero section starts functioning like a real conversion tool instead of a design block. Now let's apply it to real examples. At this point, I'm going to switch to screen share and walk through real businesses and rewrites. Skip. Because the framework makes the most sense when you see how it applies in real competitive situations. So, like real examples. So, for the first example, I wanted to look at a business competing in paid search. So, they're on Google, they're paying for traffic, they're actually paying for ads. So, these ads have to win. Because when you're paying for traffic, the hero section has to differentiate fast. The visitor is already comparing, they're already comparing options, scanning for value, and deciding which company feels the best choice. So let's look at the first example. The first one is Made for You. This is a cleaning company in Dallas. For this example, I looked at cleaning company. No, it's Miami. Yep, that appeared in the sponsored search results. I wanted to study a business already competing for high traffic, high intent traffic, because that's where the hero section has to do more than just look clean. It has to close the gap between attention and action. So now when you look at the current hero section, it gives some information, but it does not give the visitor a strong reason to choose this company over the others they just saw. So here's how I would rewrite this hero section. And you can look at it. And this is a reputable business. So they helped a lot of people. But someone for the first time coming to this site, and this company is trying to grow their traffic and their reach, they're not really like, I would probably keep looking until I see like a company that's offering more value than this. Like, just because it's 25 years of service doesn't mean I'm gonna get the best value. So I would like keep looking, honestly. Then if I come back to this company, I just so happen to do, if I don't find a better company. And that's just like how I am as a consumer. So I'm going to update. This is the updated version, and I use Claude Code to like recreate this hero section. And this is how I would rewrite it, just to differentiate from competitors out there. And I looked at all the competitors in Miami, and it's all bad. Like, it's all horrible. So I would say something like, book today and get 25% off your first cleaning, a free deep clean of your choice, and 10% off an ongoing cleaning plan. Bam. If I clicked on this page, I'm going by like that. Then the sub headline would be, from one-time refreshes to recurring home cleanings, Made for You gives new customers more value upfront and more reasons to stay long term. And then the CTA is claim your cleaning offer. That's good. I'm claiming something. Let's go. Let's go. and I really wouldn't put this free quote right there. I would really take that away. Yeah, if this was like, yeah, if this was live and active, I would certainly, and I was the one responsible for this website, I would take away the free quote because everybody else is offering that. I would say claim your cleaning offer. I think that's much better. And yeah, so why does this work? The first offer is immediate. Second, the value is stacked. Yeah, that's immediate value. You can certainly understand 25% off. That's awesome. And then a free deep cleaning. I certainly need that probably in the bathroom or something. And then 10% off of ongoing planning because I know that I might need it again. That's a good offer. And then, yeah, and then third, the message makes the company feel more compelling in a heavy a comparison heavy environment. There's a lot of competition. There's so many cleaning companies. And I feel like if your hero section on your landing page differentiates you using an offer that is valuable to that visitor, you got a better chance at converting. And it's research to back that up. And then that matters. So all of this matters because in paid search, the hero section becomes part of the sales argument, like period. It has to answer the question, why should I choose this company over the others I just saw? And this rewrite, it does that, more effectively than a generic service introduction. So let's move on to the second example here. So the second example is, let's get to the second. So I'm using this is Kiko Detailing here in Milwaukee. Yeah, the second example shows how this framework stays the same and how this framework stays the same, but the offer can change depending on the business model, the service menu, and the kind of customer decision you want to influence. Kiko Detailing, a mobile auto detailing business out of Milwaukee. Yeah, and their current hero section describes the business, but it does not give the visitor a strong reason to act now, and that distinction matters. So for this example, I looked through the service menu and I built offers based on where high perceived value intersects with low actual cost. So the first offer is a bundled value offer. So let's look at the rewritten version of this company's website. And for this example, I actually did two. I got two examples. This is the first one. So it's actually the second one. I'm gonna get the first one. So this is the first one. Yep. Okay. So the headline would be get your car a premium detail plus a free trim restoration. The sub headline would be separately, these services cost more. Together, they're yours for the price of one. That's pretty persuasive. And the CTA would be claim on premium detail and free restorations. I certainly feel like I'm getting a lot of value. So what makes this work? What makes this work is that the offer feels meaningful without requiring a deep discount on the core service. A trim restoration has real perceived value. It feels like a real bonus, but it can still be a smart offer to a builder. So this is a good example of using the framework to create a strong reason to act without competing on cheap pricing or deep discount. And I see on like social media, I see detailing companies do free services all the time, like real deep cleans, like free services. So I don't really think this will cost a owner that much compared to the potential volume, that might be coming in once people start landing on, like, your Google ads might work harder. Like he might, the volume is going to increase. So yeah, okay. It was like the premium detail included headlight restoration included free. Yep. So the sub headline would be your interior restored, your headlights cleared. Oh no, sorry. This is actually the second. What was it? Yep. Okay. So it's the second example. Sorry. The second one is this one. It's just a different offer angle. And, in marketing, if any, small business owners, if they hire a marketing agency or they just hire one marketer or they doing the marketing themselves, they should know that it's good to test different ads test different language, test different wordings and see how it resonates with the visitor. So you have to be testing different things. So me creating this second offer is just really testing what else might work for the visitor, what might actually convert them better, what might actually make them call you. So, and this also works because you might be running different ads for different services, which is probably the smart thing to do. And you might be leading that traffic to separate landing pages with a specific offer for that service. So somebody might be looking for, let me look on Google and look for a headlight restoration. And then boom, they find you and they click on your link and it goes to your landing page and they see book a premium interior detail, get a headlight restoration included for free. And I think this works even if someone is searching for a premium interior detail or if they're searching for headlight restoration. So, and there are some people out there that really care about they car. Like, so, people are searching for these services. They care about, they want to get the headlights. They want to preserve the car. So some of these things are really valuable, to a consumer. So offering good value, you could certainly increase your volume of leads and more effectively. So yeah, the sub headline would be your interior restored, your hairlights cleared, one appointment, more value than you expect. And then this call to action would be unlock my free headlight restoration. This is one is strategic for a different reason. Instead of just making the service feel more valuable, it also helps steer the visitor towards a higher value package. So now the offer is not only increasing perceived value, it's also shaping the decision path. And that is an important lesson. A stronger offer does not always mean cutting the price. Sometimes it means packaging value more intelligently. Now, let's look at how this changes in another competitive service context. So, we're looking at landscaping companies now. So, this is the next example. So, in competitive markets, the hero section has to do more than sound polished. It has to offer true value, create a clear differentiator, and give the visitor a real reason to choose this business over the competitors they're comparing online. So keep that in mind for this next example. So let's get to it. This example matters because the challenge is a little different. When someone lands on a landscaping or higher ticket service page, they're not just comparing design work, they're also comparing overall value. And sometimes they are heavily comparing design work. And quite frankly, most of these companies all have good design work. So we have to compete on something else. So the people are asking, why should I choose this company? What makes the offer more compelling? What am I really getting if I move forward? So here's the rewrite. Here's the rewrite for this company right here. This is how I would rewrite this service. I would not use this. If I was working for this company, I would change it. And I was in like the marketing department, I would say, hey, I got a different idea for testing a different wording on the website. I got different ideas for that to possibly increase our sales. I got a different thing we should put up there. So then this is what I would suggest putting up there. I would suggest, and I did research like on all of this, like, for this stuff to be actually feasible. And I looked at other companies and I listened to different landscape owners just on YouTube, they were successful doing like 3 million a year. And most of the time they said it usually is a really good offer that really gets people to close the deal. It's an offer, is what you offer them. Like, you have to be offering real value. So I rewrote this and it became expedited 3D design rendering, financing available, plus 35% off your first season of maintenance. I did get some feedback. 35% off was like a really big discount. And I feel like it could be like 15% too, whatever matches, whatever is good for the business. Especially if you like, if the business is more design heavy, like they really build designs heavy, then they really made a lot of money up front. So that they don't really need a lot of manpower or labor hours or even, I don't know, probably cost of goods to go and do that first season of maintenance if it's not really that much of work. So, like I said, it can be whatever, like, fit it to your business. I just like to keep in mind that the more value is the more compelling without, of course, hurting sales or any overhead or anything like that. So the subheadline would be see your project faster, finance it comfortably, and save on maintenance from day one. That's pretty good. That's a lot of value. The call to action would be start my landscape design. So you're just starting the process. What makes this work is that it's one complete value proposition. It creates more reasons to choose the company, not just more information to read. And that matters in a competitive market because the hero section will help the visitor see why this company feels like the smarter choice. And that leads into a deeper point about intent, which I kind of touched on a little bit. Intent, intent matching. So, the offer should match the visitor's intent level. Someone searching for a specific service is in a very different mental state than someone who arrived from social media or any just general awareness content. They probably found the business anywhere, social media. So they got a different intent level when it comes to whatever landing page you got them going to. So the mistake is sending both people into the same message, the same offer, and the same page structure. Different traffic sources arrive with different expectation, different urgency, and different decision readiness. So the hero section should not be treated like a one size fits all introduction. So, and this is why message match matters so much. HubSpot's landing page guidance says the messaging should match the visitor's previous source throughout the conversion path. If there's a disconnect, people can feel like they're in the wrong place and they're likely to hit the back button. That's exactly why the ad, the landing page, and the offer should feel like one message. Ad, landing page, offer, one message. When those three align, it builds trust faster. And once you see that clearly, the diagnosis the diagnosis gets simpler. So a lot of websites do not have a traffic problem. First, they have a clarity problem. The visitor lands on the page and cannot quickly tell what this is, whether it's for them and why they should care. Research also makes the same point in a broader user experience way. People need clarity and guidance fast. So the main takeaway is this: a strong hero section turns attention into action. It makes the offer clearer, the value more persuasive, and the next step easier for people to understand. And it seems like progress. It seems like they're getting something, not necessarily getting something taken away from them, or they're given so much. I think that's really important. So if you want help applying this to your own website, you can book a strategy call. I'll audit your hero section, build the offer more strategically, and improve the page so it has a better chance of converting. If you want to apply this framework on your own first, I'll also leave a downloadable template with prompts, uh, with AI prompts in the description so you can get some help from AI. And most pages is introduce the business. The best ones move the visitor forward, and the best hero sections don't just explain, they sell. So, thank you.